Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the MMA Corner Prediction Show. As always, tonight's episode is brought to you by BattleBomb, the only pain reliever with the knockout power. BattleBomb.com, check them out. Also, Bony Asai. Love their products. Go to the MMAcorner.com. Halfway down the page on the right-hand side is an ugly picture of Vitor Belfort. Click on that. All the Bony Asai products you need. They are running great specials right now. Check them out. I'm your host, Josh Davis, alongside my co-host, Jason Shelkey. I don't know what to say, Jason. We got UFC Fight Night 52 coming up. Roy Nelson versus Mark Hunt. As you go on this card, you'd be thinking to yourself, uh, this card sucks. It's not a great card. Well, you're right. It does suck. It's not a great card. But it's not designed for us. Again, this is another one of the cards that is designed for the Asian market, which is not the U.S. market. If it was, we wouldn't have to get up at 3:30 in the morning to watch the freaking card. It's not designed for us. It's designed for a completely different market. Now, the UFC's no idiots. They want to capture our interest, so they threw in Mark Hunt and Roy Nelson. Should be an exciting fight, but that's probably the only one that's really going to make you go, wow. Other than I do think Maisha Tate and Rin Nakai is going to be a good fight. But uh, those are my thoughts. Shelky, say
Now,
hello to the crowd. And give us
hello, crowd. Well, I mean, it's a Fight Pass card, so you can't be asking for too much. It's free, as long as you're paying your $9.95 a month. So, I mean, it is what it is. And if you notice on the card, every fight has either a Japanese fighter or someone that was a huge crowd drawer during the Pride Dream those days, Sengoku, with Mark Hunt in the main event, because he has a huge fan base over in China or Japan still. So, I mean, this card is completely geared towards the Asian market and not us. We just get, the privilege of seeing it with our Fight Pass subscription. On demand, even, if we don't want to be up that late or that early. Depends on your sleep schedule.
exactly, depending on how you do it. But no, like I said, this card's not designed for us. It's designed for a completely different market. Uh, with that being said, let's get right into it. There are some good fights on here. I mean, don't get me wrong, but again, there's probably a lot of guys on there that mainstream UFC fans have never heard of, and they're sitting there thinking, "What the hell is this?" Now, I will say this. Uh, Definitely check out this card. There are going to be some exciting fights on here. There are going to be some boring fights. There are going to be some snooze fests, but there are going to be exciting fights. With that being said, let's get right into it. Rin Nakai versus Maisha Tate. First off, if you don't know who Rin is, go check her out, YouTuber. She's 17-0. Now, granted, she hasn't fought anybody tough. Well, I can't say she hasn't fought anybody tough, but she hasn't fought anybody the likes of Maisha Tate. Uh, she just hasn't. And she hasn't fought the competition that Tate has fought. She hasn't fought Ronda Rousey twice. She hasn't fought these top tier fighters. With that being said, uh, I like her chances in this fight. She's basically fighting in her backyard. She's going to have the crowd on her side. As long as she can get over the initial octagon nervousness and all of that kind of stuff, uh, I like her chances in this fight. I think she's going to shock a lot of people. I think she's going to become a household name by the end of this fight, and I'm calling her to pull off the upset. I think she's going to find a way to get a decision here. Jason, what do you think?
I love Misha as a person. She's always been very kind. My very first podcast I had years and years ago, she actually took time while she was out on a date with Brian to call in and be on our show. So I have mad respect for Misha Tate. However, being completely honest, I really haven't been impressed with her at all lately. In the UFC, she's only won one fight. Um, and she's facing a really tough task in Rin Nakai. I YouTube some of her videos, and she is equally as good on the ground as she is standing up. She has 6 wins by submission, 4 by knockout, and she's 16-0-1, by the way. Fact boy. And she also, and Nakai also holds victories over Tara La Rosa and Sarah Diallo, if I pronounced her name correctly. So she does have some quality wins underneath her belt. So I'm going to take her. I think that she might pull out the submission. If she doesn't, I think it's going to be a unanimous decision for her.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be an exciting fight nonetheless. However it goes, I do think this is one of the better fights on the card. Real quickly, 16-0-1. I like that. I did say 17-0. I am certainly not fact or stat boy, but I do know that out of the viewers that we have right now, and it does show me a good portion of them at the bottom of the screen, I know we have Stat Boy watching, so that one was for you, buddy. All right, moving right along. Yoshihiro Akiyama, Sexy Akiyama, Old Akiyama, Bust Akiyama, Never Was Anything Akiyama, whatever you want to call him, Akiyama versus Amir Sadallah. Now, I don't know what to say about this fight, so while I gather my thoughts and figure out how I'm going to blast everyone on this one, start us off, Shoki.
As much as I have not been impressed by Sexyama, he's lost his last 4 in a row, but when you think about who he lost to, he was defeated by Chris Lieben, who at the time, he was still relevant. He was still a machine. He wasn't the guy that's going on the stool. He was beat by Michael Bisping, who we all know is climbing up and making a serious run to being a middleweight contender. Vitor Belfort, while he was on TRT, come on, he was smashing everybody. And then Jake Shields, who isn't really a slouch by any means. He may not be elite anymore, but he's definitely not a slouch. But Amir Sadallah is coming off this fight will be almost 2 years since his last fight. And so that makes me wondering if the Octagon rest is going to be on. And Sexyama's been more busy than him. In his last fight, it was a unanimous decision loss to Dan Hardy on September 29, 2012. So it's been a long time since he's been in there. He's probably, I would consider him the biggest bust of all the Ultimate Fighter champions, or definitely ranks up there. And I'm gonna take Sexyama, man. I think he's gonna put on a good show for his fans in Japan, put on a flashy show, and he's gonna get them all riled up when he wins.
Well, you bring up some very valid points, and here's the thing. A lot of people have asked me, what is the UFC thinking, this, that, and the other. Well, again, if you've watched me on the show, listened to me on the radio, whatever, read any of my stuff, I'm constantly preaching about filler fights, and this is just another filler fight. And they're using Akiyama because he is somehow still a star over there, and he really is. He's still a big draw, and they're using him to sell tickets. He's 0-4 in his last 4 fights. Who else in the UFC is 0-4 in their last 4 fights and still has a job? I mean, that's just not something that the UFC does. But again, as they're trying to grow their market over in Asia, they need these guys, and can't preach it enough. Akiyama is still a star. Now, with that being said, the only way Amir Sadallah wins this fight is by finish. Now, Shelky, you brought up the fact that he hasn't fought since 2012 against Dan Hardy. Well, guess what? It's been even longer since he's won. And yeah, there's going to be ring rust. And like I just said, the only way he wins this fight is if he gets a finish. He's not walking out of there with a decision. I'm being honest. I don't care if it's the most one-sided decision in history, or most one-sided fight in history. He's not walking out of there with that decision. If it goes to the judges, it'll go to Akiyama. I think Akiyama is going to win this fight anyway. I think he'll be able to just control position, that kind of stuff, and be able to outpoint essentially Sadala and get the decision. Now, is Sadala, you brought it up, so I'll chime in on it. Is Sadala the biggest tough bust? Maybe. I mean, I don't know how he was able to armbar CB Dollaway twice to win the show, but he did, and you know, it's just one of those things. Some people have somebody's number, and anyone can win on any given night. However, on this night, it is going to be Akiyama. Moving right along, Takanori Gomi versus Miles German. Now, I love Takanori. He's, you know, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, seriously, this was a long time ago. I still had hair. I was still a good-looking kid at that time. He actually was relevant. He actually meant something to MMA. Again, that was a long time ago. He's no longer relevant. While he still can be an exciting fighter and he can still occasionally be the fireball kid, but now he needs to be the fireball old man, or really the, I don't know, burnt up charcoal old man, because he just doesn't have it anymore. And you guess who is relevant? Miles Jury. The guy is a beast. He is wrecking fools, and unfortunately for Gomi, I think he's going to be the next one on Jury's list. I think Miles is going to go out there and put it on him. I look for Miles to get a finish probably in the second round in this fight. Shucky, agree, disagree? Am I an idiot? What's up?
Well, you are an idiot, but I agree with you. But Takanori Gomi will always have a special spot in my heart within MMA, because I was sitting ringside 6 rows behind Chuck Norris at Pride 33 at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, and that fight between him and Nick Diaz, such an epic, just great back and forth fight. Had everybody on the crowd screaming and yelling, and even though he caused me to lose my 3-fight parlay, I didn't care at that point, because I know I just watched one of the best fights I'll ever see in my life live. But he's getting old. He's 35. Time's catching up with him. He has been highly inconsistent in his UFC career. Well, Miles Jury, like you said, he's just been wrecking fools. And also, we bring this up all the time. Well, not all the time, but he's 14-0. He doesn't know how to lose yet. And given that Takanori, given his age and how many brawls he's been in, and his level of inconsistency since coming over to the States, I don't see this going well for him, even in his homeland of Japan. You know, the crowd's going to be 100% behind him. They're going to be booing Miles. They're going to be chanting Gomi. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Miles finishing him off. I think that it's going to be a stoppage. I think it's going to be a violent stoppage. And I think Miles is just going to continue his way up the lightweight rankings.
Yeah, I like Miles Jury. I think the kid's vicious. I think he's definitely one that everyone needs to watch, and he's going to put a stamp on Takanori. And I think anybody who is a fan of Pride, anyone who's an old school MMA fan like you and I are, will certainly always have a place for Gomi, because again, back in the day, he was the man. When Nick Diaz fought Takanori Gomi, no one else wanted to fight Gomi. I mean, no one wanted to fight Gomi at the time. And then when Diaz beat him, it was a complete and total shock, because no one was really giving Diaz a shot, you know. And
yep,
just one of those things. But again,
yeah, actually, going into that fight at Pride, Takanori Gomi was a 6-1 favorite over Nick Diaz.
See, there you go. He was the man, but that was back then, and this is now. And I hate to say it, the sport of MMA has really passed him by, and the new breed is gonna put it on him. Now, with that being said, main event time. Roy Nelson, Mark Hunt. Make no mistake about it, the crowd is going to be 100% behind Mark Hunt. He might as well be fighting in Australia or New Zealand, because Japan is his second home. with that being said, Shelky, give us your thoughts. I'll chime in.
You know, as much as I've been a huge fan of Mark Hunt's career revival coming since he's coming to UFC. I mean, he won his first after losing his first fight against Sean McCorkle, he won his next four, and I mean, he beat Ben Rothwell, who's no chump. He beat Czech Congo, and he beat Stefan Struve, who were all somewhat relevant in the heavyweight division at the time when he beat them. But since then, I mean, he lost by knockout by Junior Dos Santos. No shame in that because, Junior's easily, top 3 in the world at heavyweight. And then he had that draw against Bigfoot Silva and what a lot of people thought was the best fight of 2013 in a 5-round just epic brawl. However, Roy Nelson has never been knocked out in the UFC. In the UFC, I may be wrong, but I think he's never been knocked out in his entire career. You can fact check me on that. But I know he hasn't been stopped in the UFC, but he does hold the record for the most power punches landed on him in a UFC fight in his fight against Junior Dos Santos, and Dos Santos couldn't get him out of there. I just think that Roy Nelson's going to have the better beard, no pun intended. I think that it's going to be, fairly competitive fight, but in the end, Roy Nelson just has that stupid, ridiculous power that that people are just gifted with. That beer belly is not giving him. Well, I shouldn't say beer belly, but that big belly he has isn't giving him any advantages whatsoever as far as his power punching goes. And given the fact that Hunt's last 2 fights have been pretty brutal, I'm gonna go with Big Country via 3rd round knockout. I think Hunt's gonna hang tough for a while, but I think Nelson will outlast him.
Well, I go back and forth on this fight, to be real honest with you. And again, because I know Stat Boy is watching, Andrei Arlovski knocked out, or was credited with the knockout, Elite XC, October 4th, 2008, Roy Nelson's 3rd loss. So
Thank you.
He has been knocked out 1 time. I don't know that Mark Hunt can knock Roy Nelson out. We saw Junior Dos Santos, who we know has knockout power, hit Roy Nelson with everything that he had 10 times over, and Roy kept coming. Some of those uppercuts that he was eating would have seriously given me a flip-top head like those old school Reach toothbrush commercials. But he ate them like nothing, and so I don't know that Mark Hunt can finish him. But I also don't know that Roy Nelson can finish Mark Hunt unless he takes him to the ground and submits him, which he might end up doing. But to be real honest, I look for 2 guys to go out and bang, back and forth action, and someone is going to get clipped, someone is going to get hurt. And like I said, guys, I go back and forth on this fight. It really, to me, is kind of a pick 'em because Mark Hunt has such a tough noggin. I think he's going to be able to find a way to catch Roy Nelson. In his second home of Japan, I don't know, maybe the pride's coming back to me, whatever. I think Mark Hunt will be able to find a way to get it done. I'm going Mark Hunt.
Yeah, we disagree for once.
I'm going to stick with it. Well, the thing on that was I let you go first, and so since you picked Roy Nelson, I had to go Mark Hunt.
There needs to be a little parity here and there, right?
Right, and since you usually always are copying me, I just have to make sure that there's something a little different. No, in all honesty, right now in their stages of their career, if they fight 10 times, Roy Nelson's winning 7 of those fights, I think. But again, he's got to travel to Japan. He's got to deal with all of that kind of stuff. I don't know that it'll have an effect on him, but who knows? I like, in this particular fight, I like Mark Hunt's chances. I really do. So I'm I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go Mark Hunt. And if I was a betting man, well, I am a betting man. If my wife would allow me to bet on this fight, I would actually put my money on Mark Hunt. So there you go. All right, final thoughts on the card, Shelky.
I know we discussed in the beginning that this card isn't geared towards the U.S. fans. It's for the Japanese fans. But for those who have been following mixed martial arts for a long time and watched a lot of Pride back in the day, which I absolutely love Pride. I have every event they ever held, including the Bushido events. You know, the, the three top fights on this card feature fighters from Pride. And like I already said, there's always going to be a special place in me for Pride and for the fighters that compete in Pride because it was such a great organization. And so for me, I'm going to love watching it. There's a lot of fights on the undercard that could be compelling, even though they're, the only one anybody's ever really heard of on the undercard is there's two of them, Maximo Blanco and Bruce Leroy, Alex Casares. But not the best card in the world, but it could have a real good potential to be a trip down memory lane.
There's certainly going to be a lot of nostalgia related to this card. I 100% recommend. If you don't get up early and watch it, definitely check it out because it is on demand. Now, if you don't want to do that, you know what you can do. You can go to the MMAcorner.com because guess what? We got you covered. We will be watching it. We will be watching it live. We will be posting results. Not only that, we'll give you all the video highlights that you need. So everything that you need, the MMA Corner's got you covered 100%. Don't even worry about that. Now, back to the card. Definitely check this card out because there are going to be some exciting fights. And yes, there's Bruce Leroy and Maximo Blanco, which are people that you've heard of. I'm sure you've heard of Sam Cecilia as well. Go to the MMAcorner.com. Check out the interview that we did with Johnny Case, up-and-coming fighter that you're definitely going to want to keep your eye on. We took the time to interview him, get to know him a little bit. Great kid, ton of potential. I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. So there are some exciting fights on here, but again, it's not geared towards us. It's geared towards the Asian market. But we are going to have an exciting fight in the main event, guys. I got to be honest. I am looking forward to Mark Hunt and Roy Nelson. I do think these big old men are just going to go at it and bang, and someone's going to go to sleep until Christmas. So definitely check it out. Shucky, last thing.
I just had one last thing I wanted to mention. Well, number one, of course, check out the MMA Corner. We're going to have all the highlights, tweeting results, articles, everything, anything you want to know about this card, we're going to have you covered. And also, we have some great new things coming on the horizon, both as far as more multimedia content and newer, fresh, different editorials. So be sure you're checking back every day because there's going to be a lot of new things happening. And and also, if you have ever wanted to see a double knockout via nut shots, be sure to check us out tomorrow because I found a video and wrote an article about the most bizarre double knockout you will ever see in your life. It's a must-watch. Check it out exclusively, the MMA Corner.
Well, it's funny. You say that like we see a double nut shot knockout every day. I mean, that's just insane. But guys, you got to see this video. We will unveil it tomorrow. It's complete shameless self-promotion there. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, check out the MMAcorner.com. Your home for all things MMA. Everything that you need for Bellator, for UFC, for ONE FC, for World Series of Fighting, for anything MMA. Again, your home for all things MMA. It says it right there in the title. Gotta love that. Go check it out. Want to thank our sponsors, as always, BattleBomb. If you guys are not using this product, go to battlebomb.com. Pretty soon we'll be selling it in our store, so we'll make it easier for you. tell me battlebomb.com product. I use the extra strength product. I personally need to have both my shoulders reconstructed, and I need to have yet another back surgery. I rub myself down with this stuff. It is nice. It definitely soothes the muscles, soothes the joints, makes the body feel good. Battlebomb.com. Check them out. Bonia Sai. I got to be honest. I just recently started using their products. Love their energy drink. It is excellent. Uh, no, I'm not. I have no need to lose weight, so I got to be honest. I'm not using their weight loss product, but I do have a couple people that I know using it, and they're already losing weight. So definitely go to the MMAcorner.com. Halfway down the page, Vitor Belfort's face. Click on it right there. All you need. All right, guys. We will be back. Well, actually, we won't be back this weekend due to the time. We won't be doing a recap show, but we will be back next Tuesday with the MMA Corner News Show. We have switched it from Sunday to Tuesday. We don't want you guys to miss football. I don't want to miss football. I know how it is. So we're making it convenient for you. We will be moving that to Tuesday. Next Wednesday, we'll be back with our prediction show for UFC 178. We will also be unveiling the MMA Corner prediction show for Bellator next week as well. So definitely tune in to check that out. And then we'll be back Saturday night to recap UFC 178 for you. And then unveiling in October, shameless self-promotion, Monday nights, Jason and I have a little surprise for you guys. So definitely you'll want to check that out. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Until then, go to the
Keep living the MMA Corner lifestyle.
Exactly. There you go. Keep living the MMA Corner lifestyle.